Let's talk politics this morning, 22 minutes after the hour. As I mentioned, we have Congressman Mike Rogers, the Republican from Brighton, on the phone with us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael. How are you this morning?
Great to have you with us. It's a crowd in here. We have State Senator Jason Allen, the Republican from Traverse City. Good morning to you,
Good morning, Congressman.
Nice to see you both. State Representative Wayne Schmidt, also from the Traverse City area. Good morning.
Representative Schmidt, good to see you.
And this is like that old that movie, Doctor. And State Senator.
Major, Colonel, Nurse.
That's right. And Senator.
Only MASH fans would understand that.
Let's start. Senator Alan Cropsey is here too, the Republican from DeWitt, and let's start with a little conversation between both Congressman Rogers and yourself.
Okay.
I understand the Standish maximum security prison still under consideration by the federal government. Maybe not for the Guantanamo prisoners, but to be a federal facility. We have competition from Illinois. Is that right?
The department hasn't informed me what is going on in Standish at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I just know we don't want the Guantanamo people here. However, we do have a facility that's available. It's fairly new. I think it's built within the last 10 years or so. So it'd be a great place for some state to pick up and say we're willing to put people there. And we've done that, for example, with the Muskegon Correctional Facility, where we have Pennsylvania prisoners there.
Mm-hmm.
And that pays for itself, and plus a little bit. Not a whole lot more, but it does pay for itself.
Senator Allen, do those count in the tourism figures when we bring in prisoners from other states?
Hey, if we can get some additional federal dollars coming in, it's great. But I think, as we all know, we were very concerned about having the Gitmo individuals there. And I think Standish is certainly struggling, but we have to have a safe alternative.
Congressman Rogers, what's so bad about keeping the terrorist prisoners on Guantanamo Bay? That's perfectly escape-proof. I mean, they're surrounded right on three sides by water. They're off the American continent. What's wrong with that?
Well, a Gitmo prisoner is very, very different than anything else. Remember, these are some of the hardest, best trained, most ideologued terrorists in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem when you look around the world where they have kept prisoners of the same type, they're not worried about them breaking out. They're worried about people breaking in. And so what you do is you bring a whole set of new problems to a small community, like Standish, where people are thinking, well, they're inside. I don't have to worry about. All that we have to do is worry about getting them out. Nope, I'm sorry. Given the number of attempts, and it's approaching 20 attempts around the world, where people have broken into these prisons to try to get these folks out, and they don't care if they kill people in the process or themselves. Makes it incredibly dangerous, number one. And number two, these are prisoners who have committed themselves to murder in the name of their jihad. And that includes prison guards and everything else. So you've got a whole new level of training that these folks would have to go in just to be able to be in the same space with these guys. It's very expensive. It's not worth the cost. We shouldn't bring them back. Now, that being said, having a prison that takes prisoners from other places for crimes they committed, they're U.S. citizens, that's a whole different ballgame. And I think they ought to give that serious consideration.
While we're at it, speaking of terrorists, this ripple now around the world, I saw there was an incident in India and now in Afghanistan having to do with the potential Koran burning in the United States. There wasn't one in Florida where we thought there would be, but there was one in East Lansing, right there at the Islamic Center on Harrison Road, and I understand an incident now in Chicago. What have you heard about the situations? One of them is in your district, isn't it?
It is. Listen, there is lots of other ways to show your anger about radical Islam and the fact that moderate Islam isn't really dealing with it very well. And the last way to do that is to burn it. I don't think the mosque should be at the 9/11 Center for all the reasons that we've talked about before. And I don't think it's right for somebody to burn their religious book knowing that it provokes that kind of anger. There are so many better ways. Now, it doesn't stop somebody. They have the right to do it. But there are better ways to talk about things. And think about it, Michael. We have taken, Americans feel so strongly about certain things. We've taken words out of our vocabulary. Now, the First Amendment doesn't say you can't use certain words. But we have, over the course of courtesy and dignity and respect, said these words are just inappropriate, and we're not going to tolerate. They evoke such passion. There's other ways to express yourself, and so we've done that, and we've done it voluntarily. And my argument is for those folks. I don't know if they're seeking attention or what, but it is absolutely the wrong way to deal with this. And trust me, I'm as upset with moderate Islam as I am radical Islam, for them not standing up and really being loud voices for what is intolerance in their own religion. But burning the Koran in East Lansing is simply not the answer, and I think it's inappropriate.
Now, the last I heard, the FBI was investigating that as a hate crime. And as we pointed out during the break here, I mean, I remember when there was a crucifix put in a jar of urine in Cincinnati, I think it was, and that was federally funded and considered art. I mean, what's the difference?
Well, I don't know. I think that's a stretch if they're going to call that a hate crime. It may be inappropriate speech, but they have, under the First Amendment, at least in my mind, the right to do it. I mean, for goodness sake, they had ordered Bibles burnt, apparently, in Afghanistan that were printed in Pashto. So imagine a soldier that got that order to burn Bibles that were printed in Pashto. I mean, you wish it hadn't happened, but that's not hate. I think they're taking that a bit too far. And the other thing is, we have to stop giving them so much credibility by covering it so much on a national level. It gives them credibility. You're going to get copycats all over the country doing it. And I don't know, under First Amendment protection, that would be, I think they have the right to do it. I don't think it's right that they do it, but they have the right to do it.
Well, you and I will be a couple of blocks from that Islamic Center this weekend when we get ready for the Michigan State Notre Dame game on Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And Senator Allen, do you realize you have something in common with Congressman Mike Rogers other than being Republicans?
I did not, sir.
You both got shout-outs from Ted Nugent in the
Congratulations, sir.
the MichiganView.com. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I occasionally have a conversation with Ted Nugent, and he informed me recently that he thinks he's the only entertainer that actually eats his props. He had a buffalo on stage, and I asked him what happened to it, and that's when he informed me that, hey, when we're past its prime, I ate the buffalo, and I'm the only guy in all of entertainment that eats his props.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't Ozzy Osbourne used to bite the head off a chicken or a bat or something?
Was a little strange, too.
This is in the Michigan View. He says, I salute the good, hardworking, playing hard, hunting hard families of this great state. Those elected officials like Mike Rogers, Dave Camp, Jason Allen, Mike Cox, Mike Bouchard, and a handful of others who still understand they are employees of We the People and who still fight for accountability and a semblance of logic, Senator Allen.
That was just kind of fun, and I was humbled to get that kind of shout-out from the Nuge and his support of Rick Snyder.
The Nuge. He's living in Texas, though, isn't he?
I believe he's moved out of state and is down southeast United States someplace.
He was performing here, though, I think right around Labor Day, if I'm not mistaken.
He also spends a lot of time in the state of Michigan. He still owns property there and has a cabin here, so I know he spends quite a bit of time here.
State Representative Wayne Schmidt, how are you going to get on the Nugent's list? What's up with you?
I was working, matter of fact, one of my colleagues, Representative Jace Bolger, we were working with the candidate Ray Franz over in the 101st District, and the Nuge called and talked to Jace and talked to Ray and gave a little encouragement to all three of us. So it was, a private conversation, but it was good.
What's on your docket this week?
Just mostly trying to see if we can get a couple of budgets. We did a couple yesterday, the Michigan State Police budget and Veterans Affairs. So we've got a couple of things done.
Governor Granholm seems, if I'm reading this right, to be a little bit wistful about this state employee retirement program. Is she doing that, at the point of a bayonet just to get the budget passed?
Well, the budget needs to be passed. She's based her budget upon this now, and so we've got to make the budget balance some way or other. State employees got a 3% pay raise, in essence, but yet under the agreement that she just signed, it's going to be the departments have to eat that some way or another. So it's not being funded in her budget. So, some way all the departments have to come up with at least 3%, and this is one way to do it.
Yeah, I've heard her say in the past that state workers have taken enough of a hit as it is without more to come. So I suppose she's protecting that flank. Can people really use a welfare, a bridge card, an ATM card in a casino?
I'm not aware of that. I am aware that there's been abuses that have occurred in other places. For example, they would go out and buy significant amounts of soda, return the pop cans back and get the deposits, and then use that money to purchase controlled substances like tobacco.
Wow. That's a desperate person doing that, isn't it?
And so it has become somewhat of a racket in certain areas. I know that has been a point of contention within the budgets, trying to get better enforcement on that.
Apparently, there is a bill designed to prevent those welfare recipients from using the debit cards in casinos, and they wanted to make sure that the banks and credit unions didn't have to participate in the effort.
No, what they were, the department that has oversight of this, said that they wanted to be able to have a little more flexibility. That was up on the floor yesterday. A substitute was put in to give them flexibility, which was offered by the Republicans because that's what the department wanted. The Democrats have objected to that. So I think we'll probably go back today and say, fine, if the Democratic administration and the Democrats are at loggerheads with each other, we just may go with what the Democrats in the House want and say, let's just make it a firm type of thing instead of, as it was pointed out, an optional mandate, which is is not what I've ever heard of anything be an optional mandate before. But that's kind of what we were working on yesterday, and I think we'll probably finish that up today.
You know what? The best thing that I can think of that would be an optional mandate is when you ask your wife if you can go out and play poker with the buddies, and she says, sure, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and play poker with your buddies. And you say,
I've had that option.
yeah, it's kind of a mandate.
Very optional.
That's right.
It's more of a mandate.
That's right.
How's your reelect going, Representative Schmidt?
It's going well. I was just chuckling about the MSU Notre Dame game, and my wife being a Notre Dame grad, I was thinking about optional mandates. There weren't many options after Notre Dame lost last weekend. So
That was a heck of a game, wasn't it?
yeah, so I'm going
Holy
to be
Toledo.
out. So I'm going to be out campaigning quite a bit because if anybody knows Notre Dame fans or graduates, usually not very good mood after they lose.
Gotcha. Thank you very much, all three of you, for coming in, and thank you too, Congressman Rogers. We'll see you this weekend at the Notre Dame game.
We'll see you there. Thanks, Michael.
All the best to Congressman Mike Rogers, State Senator Jason Allen, State Representative Wayne Schmidt, and State Senator Alan Cropsey. We will get with Andy Hetzel from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. I see George Volman is here, too, and he's parked I don't know what that is. We'll find out when we get back. Michael Patrick Shields on Wednesday. Senator Levin coming later, too.